Welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest MetaQuest and virtual reality news. We join our hosts, the father-son team of D. Scruffles and Stratus today, as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the world of virtual reality.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we're joined with Samson and Dan from Let's Talk Oculus.
What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus. My name is Dan, and I'm joined by Samson as always, and we're joined by the Ruff Talk VR crew. So we could call this the Let's Talk Oculus / Ruff Talk VR podcast.
Yes, we'll do a simulcast, as I've heard other people in the industry call these.
And it's all in person.
In person, we don't get many of these opportunities.
There's no.
We're all touching.
Look at that. We're holding hands under the table.
This setup, it could either be for a podcast or something else, maybe a little more unscrupulous, but you know. But we're all here.
Show.
We're all here at PAX. I figured this
PAX
would be
East.
PAX East, baby. PAX East 2025, right in our home turf of Boston, Massachusetts. I thought this would be a little fun to do a little simulcast where we'll put it out on our feed, our YouTube channel. You guys will do the same time. For the cross listeners that I know listen to both shows, they're going to be like, "What the hell? I just heard this one on."
For
Shout out
trivia,
Inferno.
see if you can count. See if you can count all the differences.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of crossover, so it'll be interesting. But I think we're each going to do our own little editing flair. So for the real detail observant people, they're going to have good reason.
There'll
on
be a
both.
quiz.
So, you know, a lot of times, I'm sure it's the same when you guys do your podcast. Like, you bring on guests because there's a game to talk about or an update. This is a fun one. We're just all here at PAX East. So I guess I'll start. Is this both of your guys' first PAX?
My first one, yeah. I mean, because I'm coming from Canada, it's not like the cheapest trip to make, right? But my first ever convention ever. I've never been to any gaming convention before.
Wow.
I've done a small Comic-Con back in the UK, but it was nothing on the scale of PAX. So I had no idea what to expect. But
There's
I had
a lot of
great
people
time.
here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Especially today, Saturday.
Yeah,
We're recording on
Saturday.
Saturday,
Yeah,
by the way.
sold out. So I guess being your first, how do you like it?
It was great. It was cool because there was a lot of games that I would not tend to play, but it gave me an excuse to try it for the first time, right? It's like, for example, Magic the Gathering. Never played that. I'm not big into tabletop games, but I was like, this is the perfect time to try something like that, for example. So that's the best part about it, because I was trying to avoid the stuff that I would normally play, because I was like, I can probably get this at home at some point and such. But with the new stuff, the tabletop stuff, it was a great time.
Some of those tables too, like the Windward. I don't know if you saw that.
yeah.
Dude, I want one. Every year I go there and I go, when I have money one day,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm going to leave.
That's
the
like the custom
big
ones.
ones,
the ones
and they
that
like
crank up
raise and lower.
Yeah.
It
That's
is
crazy.
insane. I'll take it though. This isn't your first PAX, Simpson?
No, this is, I think, 3 or 4 for me. I love it. Every year I get more and more comfortable here. My first year, I had so much anxiety. I think I had the 4-day pass and I only came Sunday. I was like, "What is this? Oh God!" And now I feel so. It's a great time.
It's like your home stomping grounds at this point. And it's a cool convention. It's like, I know that there's ones like AWE, GDC that have a lot more VR. Gamescom, they all have a lot more VR, and PAX is a little bit of the oddity that it almost feels like the stepchild of the gaming
Anti-VR.
industry. Yeah, the VR industry doesn't really touch it besides,
I mean, it's the elephant in the room for PAX East, and we talk about it all the time. Is it's a fantastic event.
one of the biggest for flat gaming.
But
It's
for
huge.
some reason, the VR scene on it isn't what it should be. But it's and I'll say it probably all year. If you have a VR game and you bring it to PAX East, you're going to get phenomenal attention.
So much attention.
If there's 100 VR developers there, you might not get that attention now. So it's such a no-brainer for
Now's the time to
is
come.
true. I
all
never
the
thought of
marketing
that.
strategies that everyone uses and throws money at or tries to get done. And it's like, this one's an obvious. The market's not there in capacity, so it's a win.
I think Gamescom had the Home of XR booth last year, which they're not going to do this year.
No, unfortunately.
Imagine if that was here with all of these hardcore flat screen gamers.
If it was here and it was not just a creator media outlet, but was set up by design where all VR was in one, even at that point, it could be a section of the floor and it was open to the public.
Yeah, I'm not sure you guys made it to the second floor. There's a whole free play area where you can just go in. They have various consoles and just play whatever. And if you they sort of had that down there with the VR area.
Free play area,
Yeah, where you got to sign up and go there. So there are sort of some options, but I didn't quite realize how much of PAX is tabletop.
Yeah,
it's huge. Chunk.
It is a great chunk of it. And friend of the show, Noble Squashy, he pushed us to sort of go try some new board games. And I just got to shout out Bino because I'm hooked on it.
Is that the flick one?
It's a soccer
We
flick
played it
game,
all night last night.
and we've played 3 to 4 hours. I bought a board, and it is great.
We tried it.
I will
Loved it.
say I've seen video prior to coming up. I've been seeing, don't know why, videos show up in my feed of people playing various little flick type games, and I'm like, this is freaking genius because it's not too small where it's a novelty. It's like, and there's real, like, obviously the people who sell them, you'll see their techniques. They put spin on the freaking.
I saw
Crazy.
the maker, whoever's working their booth, he was like flicking it up.
Yeah,
I tried it and I shot it.
I grabbed the video because I'm like, I have to play this thing. I want to play it. I also like those games where, like, not air hockey, but it's similar. I've seen it in other countries where you'll have the holes in the corner and you get the different size.
I think Squashy was telling me about this one. I forget also what it was called. Yeah,
dude, it looks so much fun. But yeah, you picked one up, right?
Yeah, I did. I'm hooked. I'm so hooked. I will play it forever.
It's a good, like, you have people over the house. Like, it's a get together. Just put it in, like, on a table, and the people just come over.
It looks nice as well. Like, it's really well designed. The turf's beautiful, and they have like different style turfs. It's not just aesthetics. Like, it actually feels different. It plays
material.
differently.
Yeah.
Like, one of the turfs, like, you flick it a little bit, it goes flying.
Okay, that's
One
actually
of
a
them.
huge
We
difference.
played
Yeah, it
more
makes
of the Astro
the
turf
black one.
instead of the tight.
The black one, yeah, interesting. Yeah, there's like different ones, and then the newest one that they have is like a slower turf. So like you play on different ones, and they're very different. It's so cool, so fun.
I'll need more boards.
Yeah, I already bought accessories for them as well. Like by the time we got home, you already ordered like a bunch of different colors.
True.
And all.
So when the people or your players are nails that are silver stock, and I saw online you could get different colored nails. So I got a blue team and a fuchsia team coming.
Can you move the pins? Or are they locked in?
You unscrew them when there's red cards.
So they should go where the pin sets are.
Okay, you can't
Exactly.
do like a setup a line
I was
across.
wondering if you could change, like if you could custom make a board and put your own holes, you could change your formation in theory. But maybe that's a little advanced.
Yeah.
I do think these are probably popping off on college campuses because if I was a kid in college
I already know where you're
having
going
some
with this.
beers and
for sure.
we're playing 2-on-2 just hanging out,
It's a lot harder than beer pong.
yeah,
That's better than foosball in my opinion too.
Oh,
Like,
100%. Yeah.
And
I love that game. It's just at one point, my brain's going to get confused.
and your
And then
wrists are destroyed.
Yeah,
and
it's like, that's it.
You don't know what you're doing.
And I know it's the generic VR fan thing to say. I think I said this to you during the convention as well too. I can't help but think that would be an epic VR game if like you were just a giant hand, like you with hand tracking, and you got to flick a soccer ball or something like that with preset
come on
barriers.
down. Yeah.
I feel like it would work. But no, the board game area is huge.
It's good. Yeah.
I like that you went in with the attitude to like actually try something.
I wanted to try all this. Well, that's what you just said with like VR titles should come to PAX because a lot of people don't have VR headsets. Like some people actually, because I was wearing the Let's Talk Oculus with the back and they were like, what is that? And I said, oh, it's a VR podcast. I was like, oh, I had a Quest 2. It's just collecting dust and all that stuff. So a lot of people maybe have, because, Quest 2 came out during COVID. A lot of people did buy it and such.
The library wasn't where it's at
Library's
today.
not where it's at. Yeah, exactly. But the fact that if people don't have VR headsets, but there's a lot of VR titles out there to play. Like there was like Tunnels, for example, had a booth here and such. Among Us 3D had one VR headset that was always being played on as well. Like people want to try stuff that they don't have at home. So then that will incentivize them to buy it. So yeah, it seems like a no-brainer. They just need to have some like motivation to do it.
Speaking of the VR booths, did you all have a favorite VR booth?
Ooh, I can never pick a favorite on things. To be honest with you,
I do. I have a favorite on this one.
who's this? Who is
No
it? You gonna say?
hesitation.
No, because they've earned it, in my opinion. Although I believe this is 25 is the year we're going to see the Pin City.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I've been wondering because I've seen them for 3 years.
3 years in a
Yep,
row.
we talked to them every year.
They had a small little like 8-foot booth
They-
on the
they have
sidewall.
gotten- yeah.
And then last year they were a little close. This year they had a great location.
And they get a great reception.
Every year, this year they had the high scoreboard too, which is kind of cool. So I did ask them like,
When's
what's
it coming?
Yeah, dude.
'Cause
What's the push
It
that's
looks
needed?
it did look way better. I didn't play it this year, but I did see on the social screen. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. I feel like I've been watching your development, or just
and
at
they're going
PAX
to
East.
keep developing it. So they're my favorite because it's true to what an indie studio is. It's like two people mainly that have been focused on this for years. Somehow they're managing to invest in it to come to PAX, which, no bullshit.
That's what blows my mind.
PAX is not cheap. No convention is cheap, right? And I this is the year I think they're going to do it, and they have a fun. It is missing one thing though, is it not? Is there
multiplayer?
Yeah,
but they
multiplayer
said
will
now.
come.
Man,
It's a
the
leaderboard
ultimate
thing
game
now,
for-
huh?
But as a studio, I'm liking seeing that like next year. Maybe they won't even be there because their game's in the wild. So it's been neat to see this progression versus, Love Shell Games. They're one of my favorite studios.
Alchemy.
But they're so established and they've got their hand, it's a corporation.
Yeah.
Alchemy, same thing. They're a huge, to me, they're like a bigger company.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with the crowds that all of the VR booths had. That goes to our point earlier. But even like Pencil,
Tunnels was
tunnels.
crowded. Yeah.
They're smaller.
Packed, yeah.
Pencil would
City.
probably be my number 2.
They're Penn
That's
City.
that's a gem and a half, dude.
They're smaller studio, smaller games, but you wouldn't know it from like booth attraction. Like people are interested. I'm not seeing anybody leave any of those booths going, I'm nauseous. I don't want to use VR anymore. I love your attitude of like, there's even people that maybe have a Quest.
They forgot.
And it'll re-spike up some user engagement. I think, Meta or the Home of XR booth, it's like, oh, it's so right.
I don't think Meta will do it. Unfortunately,
No.
I just don't see them going.
I do think they got, because last year in the VR free play area was like HTC Vives.
Yes.
And this year I saw Quest 3s over there.
This is through Mateo,
the content creator of the year, Mateo. Yeah,
Mateo 311.
I said I can't say his name without saying that. Now.
Yeah,
It's a deserved title, and until the year's over, that's the title you carry.
Nice.
Yeah, no, he
That is awesome. I like
and
that.
I honestly believe with that being the start that he might do something else to try to make that that area better.
I do have to shout out though, and like this isn't to be egotistical or anything like that. Always my favorite time of these events is like when a developer recognizes you. You don't.
Oh yeah,
like,
you walk right up and they're like, yeah.
It's like in most of my life, like I'm just a dude, So like when we went to Meta Connect or Gamescom, there was a time where like we tried to walk 30 feet and it took over an hour to walk 30 feet because every time we finished the conversation, it's the Ruff Talk guys. And it's like, that's a feeling that I don't get anywhere else in my life.
You're a celebrity.
I'm somebody at the very least. We walked up to the Stay Forever Home booth. They were on our showcase.
Yeah.
Theoretically,
I
they should.
didn't know they were going to have any advertisement
No.
for that there either.
Could you play that one?
No.
'Cause-
No,
okay, I saw the sign.
Visual
Okay.
play of it.
They said they were having Wi-Fi issues.
Yeah, there was
that
some
makes
internet
sense there.
issues today.
Yes, I think Alchemy had some as well.
Yeah, so they had to
too,
divert back to
Job Sim.
Job Sim.
which isn't a bad game to demo.
Yeah,
either.
right. If you have that in
Still
your
holds
backup.
up.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I
Still
think
holds up.
Maybe the best
Alchemy's
game to demo.
dimensional booth. How cool would it have been though because that was a pretty big booth. If they could have had it so you
They had
could
a
have
lot of
played
space.
every one of their
Oh, do
Yeah.
a level of Job Sim,
Uh-huh.
a vacation sim, take a stroll through Cosmonious High.
put it all in one build though
Yep.
as like just
A
a
demo
build demo.
of-
Yeah,
Yep, one level of each. Man, that's not a bad idea.
3-4 minutes, 3-4 minutes, 3-4
Maybe we
minutes.
should start with just getting a demo on there.
That's a good. That's a good.
We can go
That's a
from
good.
there.
That's a good point. But we walked up to the Stay Forever Home booth. Like theoretically, they should know us. Yeah, like they were on our showcase, but I never like walk up like, do you know who we
That's it,
are?
yeah.
You know, like
Right.
it's very weird in my opinion. So
Yeah.
we walk up and the lady goes, "Oh my god, it's the Ruff Talk VR guys," and it's like that's such a cool feeling. So they might have been my favorite just off of that feel good reaction. But let me flip it around on YouTube. What about, do you guys have a favorite VR booth?
Go ahead.
When it comes
Well,
to
we didn't really
VR,
try
we
them.
didn't try many VR booths. We walked past them, we saw them and such. The Shell Games was the only one we did with the Among Us, but that was more to see the PC version of Among Us.
I'm a
3D to
huge
the
Among
VR.
Us fan.
Yeah, so we spoke to them. There was a couple of devs on the scene there, and they were great. They were a good talk to. But like because of how I went into this place, I was like, I want to try stuff that I've never tried before. So I don't know if I could choose a favorite. I guess Shell Games by default, but the tunnels people looked like they were absolutely raving with people near them.
Oh,
so
they were having
shout
a
out to
blast.
them. They did email me to come try it, and I was like, I'm sorry. I know I've
That
got
looks scary.
the VR arachnophobia is real. I appreciate what you're doing. I'll come see you guys, but I'm not gonna go play it.
Tight dark spaces are bad enough.
Yeah,
Big giant spiders thrown in there too.
Yeah,
Nice.
I am good.
Might be a little much for some people.
Yeah.
But at least you're trying it in a bright convention. Like a lot better than my dark home at 8 p.m. at night, home alone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I pick Among Us, but it is. I played flat, and it was my first time playing the 3D one on Steam, like on the PC flat, and I kind of liked it. I was like, oh, this is gonna branch, not as a like preference, right? But like as I used to play Among Us in the pandemic, the flat version.
Me too.
And now I can finally branch out to all those friends I used to play with and get them to play with me. And
you can go in headset and still play with them while they're on their computer.
Exactly. And then I can wave at them and make them jealous that they don't have hands and all that. Although there is an emote in the game for flat players.
Okay.
But yeah, I love Among Us, and right now they've got I forget what the special mode going on is called, but it's sort of like tag, where you got to tag everybody, and infection maybe, and you got to infect everybody. It's just, I love how they always put spins on it, keeping it fresh. There's going to be a new update coming out soon, and so that was the one I played. But I also, to convention, since we have VR at home, I'm not trying to put on a headset that a few hundred people have put on generally. And,
I know you have the same mentality.
Yeah,
it's just a little
Samson and I
grimy
talked
for
about
me.
it earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, dude, if I could bring my own headset and be like, I'll come back in 10.
I have the demo on here, and then
Under certain if I visit your studio, I'll try the headset. But
I
like you
apologize,
said,
Resolution Games.
when it's the
I wrecked one of their headsets.
dude, that thing shorted out.
What did you do?
Just sweat like a fucking
They had us
in it.
So we go to their studio in Sweden,
Destroyed it.
and first of all, we got hot by walking there, not really knowing the weather.
I thought Sweden.
I was overdressed.
I'm gonna be cold, and fucking we're pouring by the time we get there.
So we play their game.
It's like a skit. We walk in the
Hearts
studio
beating, we're
like
both
sweating,
sweating.
obviously sweating. They're like, "You want to
Your
have a seat?"
baseball
I'm like,
sliding
"No."
across their studio floor. We're playing against the devs, and
We played Spatial Ops.
Yeah.
and like it's a full.
moving around a lot, dude.
I get competitive on anything I do, and so I'm like you said,
rolls.
baseball sliding. I'm like fucking jumping over things.
you apologized when you took the headset off, gave it to one of the developers, and she put it on by
like a savage.
just like went to looking at to like
and
Yeah.
I went. I don't know if you want to do that.
oh
And then she went, put it right on. I was like,
Oh,
oh my god! And we didn't actually destroy the headset. I say I destroyed it. What I mean is like I sweat.
Hyperbole.
I'm confident when we left they threw that thing away. They're like, are they gone? Yeah, throw that away. That thing is
You gave me flashbacks to when I used to be a backup catcher in high school, and I would put on the catcher's
no,
mask
no, no.
after the other
I've
player.
done that before, to be honest.
And
no.
gross.
That's nasty.
No, so I do have, and it's not. I've said it publicly numerous times. It's like I'm hard to get into a headset in a convention. First thing in the morning, I'll do it. I've done that before. Other than that, I'll go from afar. And,
I think the only exception was Gamescom.
well,
You used
yeah,
the
dude,
whole reason we were there.
that's
I couldn't really
it.
say no to that.
A very controlled booth.
That was an XR in that BA.
Yeah, it was just
with
dedicated.
with a documented list of people.
That's
you
true.
know?
That's a good point. If
Um,
any herpes go out, we
Yeah,
have.
there's
we
a
have the
very-
list of
there's a very
contacts.
good record of involvement versus and it's not a knock. I mean, they're all doing the sanitary wipes.
I did see the sanitization
Yeah.
often, but
Yeah.
sometimes you're just not.
It's just a me
comfortable.
thing. It's like
Yeah.
It's a me
it
thing.
creeps me out.
And I'm with you too. It's like I can do it all the time
Yeah.
at home. Like
Yeah.
I'd rather talk with people.
Yeah.
Like
I like the networking.
that's my
Yeah.
favorite part of these all. Like
Yeah.
Meeting the people is the funnest for sure.
the booths, the games, it's fun, but like being able to talk in person to a developer or other creators that like we interact with online, but these opportunities don't come up. It's like that's worth the cost of admission.
I do want to shout out. There was quite a few people who like spoke to me because of the shirt wearing "Let's Talk Oculus," and they obviously saw Oculus and they were like, "What's that?" and such. But one developer from it was named Sean from Corrupted Media Productions, who creates the game Vertical Shift. Have you heard of a Vertical Shift?
I've heard of it, but I haven't played.
Yeah, I've not played it too. It's free to play. I downloaded it immediately after he started flowing to me. But he just tapped me on the shoulder and he just asked me what the podcast is and such. And then he just told me who he was, and he was the developer. And then he said he's working on the next game. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but he didn't say don't say that and such. But yeah, it's those kind of interactions which are just really cool.
Priceless.
Yeah,
Really
priceless.
priceless.
Even if they're like maybe they are VR scene or developer or just a random person who's just curious.
No,
Just talking to you, it's great.
I agree. It's like even if I played no game, I'd be happy with just that other stuff.
I was just saying, if you put me in a warehouse-sized room and all the studios were there and they just had an 8-foot table with a couple of representatives with some pamphlets of what the game is, which we already kind of know, right? It would take nothing away from my experience because it's all about that speaking and learning and obviously networking and pre-booking and such. But
I think I played one game today and that was it. You know,
well, you stood in a line for a long time.
That's why,
was
right?
it Pokemon?
It's a Saturday.
What did you play?
No, what was the game? It was from Devolver
It was a
Digital.
Devour. Yeah, it was a shooter one that they had.
Yeah, they had 2 games. Their booth I thought was the coolest in terms of the art style. Like the art style was really cool, and the art director was there. I was just saying to the woman, I was like, the art style is amazing. And she's like, oh, I'm the art director. Thank you so much. That means everything. I'm like, great. But no, they had 2 games. They had one which was like a party game with people where they had different modes. So one was like a Rocket League style. Another one, the one that we played was like a
sumo
Smash
wrestling.
Brothers kind of style. But it's like a ragdoll physics game. That was fun. We played that yesterday. What we had today.
Our team won.
Yeah.
Nice.
What we had today was...
Just gotta say,
just
saying.
Just saying.
We did. We won on the last second.
Yeah, thank you, Squashy. You really carried us.
Yeah, we did. The game that we played today was called Mycopunk. You can get it on Steam for free, like a demo right now. But it's like a think After the Fall in terms of VR sense, but not
flat
VR,
screen.
but flat screen.
Okay.
4-person, a lot
So
of bugs.
that's cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you walked up to one developer and we're like, "Oh, that would look great in VR," and he went, "Here's my
Oh
business
no,
card."
he goes, what'd you say? I said, I was saying that this game should be ported to VR. And he just here. Right? So
It feels like people are receptive to it right now.
I could have probably scooped 100 developers with very little struggle who would be like, because you're seeing like they're so hyper focused on their platform.
Yeah, it's hard to think of even.
So even if they have the thought and they love it, it's like,
Do you know how to develop in VR?
yeah,
Like,
it's
have you ever
I'm
made a
not-
VR game?
I'm not doing it.
So
that was kind of interesting as just a beta experiment of touching the waters of. But dude, there were so many. I'm loving a lot of the builder games that I saw.
I was even gonna
It
say
was
this,
like a factory style game that was
like a
similar
flat
to,
screen loop one done.
Yeah, it was similar, but man, I want it bad. I do. I have no shame with like asking for a VR key. I mean, I'll admit it, right? Flat screen, it's like
I don't cover flat screen.
I can't. You know, I did last year.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get emails, especially from PAX. You know, forever.
Too many emails.
A
Someone
lot
might
of
say.
them just get thrown
Very,
out.
very
hundreds.
efficient. So there's
You'll
one
get them
game.
all year long.
Yeah.
too.
Sometimes
really?
a name will
Yeah.
catch my. Oh yeah, you'll forever.
Yeah.
They definitely sell that list. I get
The
fucking emails. Like that.
communication is legit, which is
Yeah.
good because you're always on the list. But it was a game that was like right up my alley, right? So I sent the guy. I'm like, look, I VR podcast. We don't even talk about. And he's like, here's a Steam key. You know,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your feedback regardless. And I'm like, I already knew I was gonna love it, right? We never really covered it, but fuck it, you know, I couldn't resist. But there was a handful of those that I'm like, I know I'm gonna end up buying this. I know I'm gonna end up getting that.
Yeah.
So,
My biggest.
So I was about to say I felt really awkward when I did something like that too, because I met the people at Pizza Bandit, and because I was like, you know, I said the media badge, I booked the appointment and everything, and the producer spoke to me for ages about it, and it was a really good conversation. I was in a great time, but I was like, I hope he knows that I'm in VR. So,
yeah, no.
you know, and this is a third-person game too. I had a great time playing it. It was like an overcooked / third-person shooter game. It was really weird, but it was so polished, and it's like coming out real soon. But I was like, well, I guess I'm talking about it now, so it worked.
It worked, right?
So,
Yeah, they'll get their advertisement. In
Yeah,
the end,
and I
guess.
think I did
Yeah, they
bring
got
up
it.
the name of the game and the it's got a name that can't resonate with remembrance, and that kind of stings a little, but it is a city builder style war troops, armies.
That's always my biggest problem with these conventions. Is like the games I like to play. It's like really in-depth RPGs or really in-depth strategy games, city builders.
Yeah.
You're not going to just
Colonization-
play that for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like it's really not. You don't. It doesn't do the game justice.
no.
Really, you just teased me. You know, like now I want to play it more, and it's not here, which I guess is their goal. But yeah, it's like shooters, sports games, mini game type thing, like party games. I feel like are the best to demo. Things that are like heavy strategy or really in depth RPGs. Like imagine demoing Asgard's Wrath 2. You'd be like,
Yeah.
the fuck do I do? You know. So yeah, I Boulder's Gate. I spent an hour in the character creator.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know how you demo that.
So yeah, I like
Yeah.
if they threw me in there, I'd be like, Sorry, people behind me. It's going to be a long time.
It's going to be a stretch.
So I got to ask. You guys are both here
We are.
right now. But how about next year? Have you guys already talked? Like, there's something you want to do
Like
again?
a yearly thing.
Well, he lives just down the road.
Yeah, I figure
so
Samson will-
I will definitely be here. And in fact, now that you mention this, I missed Amelia being here. It was
Right.
great to have her here last
Yeah,
year.
she was
I
here
was a
last
little
year.
bummed she
It
wasn't
was a
going to make
wedding
it.
or something.
Her and the hubby.
Yeah.
Great member of both communities. That's
Definitely.
a great shout out. Amelia's awesome.
100%. But yeah, I definitely will be back. I've offered to host Dan and Noble Squashy again. And if you're a VR creator out there, I might have another room.
He has room.
But yeah, I'll definitely be back. I assume y'all too. I'll let Dan answer too. But
Yeah, that's the goal. Unless like we have some crazy opportunity that arises the same dates. I think we can justify at least a day trip to it.
I need to see a bigger push in VR. I mean, in theory, I'm back next year, right?
Yeah.
I showed up for five studios. Why wouldn't I show up for 5 again?
Right.
But I really want to see a big,
10 VR devs,
It's-
12 VR devs, 15.
and
You know?
yeah, anything more than every year it should be a building thing. There's enough of it to go around, right?
Mhm.
Look
Yeah.
at all the other conventions that are out there. It's like,
Mhm.
and again, I'll go right back to my other thing. It's like, I don't care what your game is. It could suck. It's still going to get attention.
Yeah,
People
right.
are going to stand in line to
Right.
play it versus other conventions where people are going to go, it looks like it sucks. I'm not wasting my time.
And I'd argue the fact that that PAX isn't targeted to VR people actually makes it
Makes it
stronger.
better, yeah.
Because like you go to AWE, and there's no knock on AWE. I've heard everyone say it's an amazing conference. It's XR. Like you're selling to the same audience that everyone is fighting over. Versus you go to a
Oh,
convention
it's all
like
new
PAX.
blood.
Yeah,
These
these aren't
tabletop people, there's flat
Yeah.
gamers. and
correct. You're
everything.
getting a new audience, and that's
Yeah.
so valuable. It's like, why are we gonna keep cannibalizing and fighting over the same? Dude, if you're going to AWE, like you are fucking in VR.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know how much consumer value there is unless you're
Right.
looking for publishing deals or
Right.
investing. But you go to a convention like PAX, there's a
Gamers.
lot like gamers, flat screen gamers,
Your
tabletop
actual audience.
Yeah.
The
Right.
actual people you want to.
that aren't being touched by other VR developers. It's like an untouched market
Yeah.
of people. It's like we scream it from the mountains.
yeah.
Doesn't
Especially
budge.
as it gets closer. So I will be back, but I want to see the effort made.
I will add that I do think I'll come like Thursday, Friday. That's avoid crowds, do everything I want to do. Let me, because Saturday is great. Saturday is great for the cosplay.
That's the consumer day in my.
Yeah.
That's why I joke. It's like the sold out day every year.
Cosplay.
Yeah, the cosplay is great on Saturday, but if you're trying to actually do things like Thursday, Friday, days to come, and really what got me is the food lines on Saturday today was insane. Like every food truck
Look at
in
the
there,
boba tea.
every food truck in there on Thursday, Friday was not a wait. Today it was like a 15-20 minute wait to even
That
start
gives you
waiting
some
for your
more
food.
time to justify $20 on a buddy
exactly,
bun.
exactly.
That's the
No,
problem with the
it's
line
not
that long.
funny.
You're looking at the menu that whole time. You're like, do I do it?
Yeah.
Do
You
I
got
not
some
do
boba?
it? Almost
So
did.
yesterday we scoped it out, and amazingly, it was probably pound for pound the most realistically priced.
Yeah.
Like
Think-
matching what you find on the street.
Yeah.
like
like
$12
$10,
for a
$11.
boba. That's
Yeah,
about what I see
100%.
for a
Go,
lot.
okay, fair enough.
Not a
And then
$20 bow bun.
Maybe there were
What the
several
fuck?
people in line. Today we walk over to get it, and I'm like, dude, that line is going from the
Oh
tea
my
place
gosh.
almost to the exit.
It's
of
crazy.
The whole food thing. I'm
For
like,
boba tea.
for boba tea.
How much fucking tapioca do they have back there?
Holy Moses, dude! It's just Orbeez at that point. You're just fucking sucking up
The
Orbeez.
tiniest little tapioca
Don't
balls.
chew the boba.
You actually had your first ever boba tea like a week ago.
Yeah, in Sarasota.
Liked
Yeah.
it so much you wanted more.
Yeah, you want
Yeah.
to line up that.
So I've wanted it before. This is embarrassing. I was at Foxwoods. They have a boba tea place with one of the most confusing freaking menus I've ever seen in my
They're
life.
not easy. Yeah.
So I
There's
walk up.
pictures and everything. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
I walk up with
overstimulation.
my other half. I'm like, I'm getting it, hon, and I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know what. I don't know
Which
what.
balls
I
do
said
I want?
I said I want the thing that has the little balls, but I'm embarrassed to go up and
Yeah.
be like, hey,
Yeah.
I just want something that's got those balls everyone talks about. Like I felt so stupid. So I walked away like really like Eeyore, man. I was so bummed. So when the opportunity came, think it was the Grey Wolves wanted to. I was like, yeah, I'm down because now I've got schooled people. I know you've gotten it. The Grey Wolves, they like it.
We're all talking about the flavors we like. You're like, all right, I'm with people.
Changed my life. I'm like, now I can go in with a little confidence, and I'm not.
You know,
yeah, dude.
You get the normal, or not normal, but the traditional milk tea with the boba. Is that what you went with?
I went with I went with a super mango.
Okay.
So it was mango, and they did the little cubed mangoes, and then the
tapioca,
fat layer of tapioca, which was delightful to suck up for some reason.
It really is.
Like,
it's
wow.
such like a text. Like, I don't know. It's just a great feeling.
I go with the taro root one. I don't know.
Okay.
It's
I've never gotten that one.
always my go-to. Any boba place, the taro is the best one. It's like a nice light purple, which is the reason I bought it the first time. Yeah, it's purple. It's pretty. I'll get it. Actually, really good. It's like creamy potato. I know that doesn't sound nice to drink.
Creamy potato.
I think taro is like a root veggie.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like in the potato family.
Interesting.
I've had taro chips before.
I was going to say
They're good.
somebody got me those before.
Yeah, so my brain just goes, oh, it's a potato. Maybe it's not even anything like a potato. So I'm like, oh, it's creamy potato drink, but it actually
Some
tastes
sort
good.
of root, I think.
Yeah.
Because I asked when I got these chips, I was like, what is this? Like, it's a root.
It's like a parsnip,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
So I'll assume you're a tea drinker, right?
Wait, I love tea. Yeah. I'm from England, and my heritage is India. We drink tea the most.
You have it covered.
Are you
so
both-
do you do the boba teas?
I don't know. I've had it like a couple of times.
Okay.
I do like the squidgy balls and
Yeah.
the chew them afterwards. They are cool. I think it's more of a price thing to me. I just look at
$12
it
for tea is
yeah.
tough.
Exactly where you're going.
Yeah, good.
That's awesome. I want that clip.
Samson, you got a go-to flavor for boba?
I think I normally just do the milk tea with the whatever the normal balls
Classic.
are. Yeah.
Normal balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, the normal balls. They
Normal
feel
balls.
pretty good.
They just hit right.
But yeah, I don't get it too often, but I am a fan of the bubble tea. There's a mochi nut, which is a sort of mochi donuts. I think place in
donuts.
Worcester, and
okay. I know what
there's
you're
one in
talking
Lowell too.
Are
But,
they like the green? Or there's a green? Is that the mochi? Is that what it is? Or is it- I'm thinking matcha. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's like, because I always thought of the mochi with like the rice balls, the ice cream inside, but this is like just like a donut, and it's I don't know how to describe it. It's basically like you can kind of rip it apart. They're like little almost balls all connected, and it's just a different lighter donut, if you will,
like a donut pomegranate.
yeah, exactly.
That
Bigger
sounds
balls.
like a
Bigger
phobia if I
balls.
look at that.
But anyway, the mochi nut place has that I've gone to. They have bubble tea. That's the long way to get to that. But
Well, all that to say,
Yeah.
the food was expensive.
Yeah.
oh, here,
Understatement.
yeah,
Understatement.
today I had the lady and her kid there, and I made it my goal to make sure they're not gamers, and they're both much like my first time there, a bit anxious,
Overwhelmed,
Yeah.
overstimulated. Oh.
So
A
I
lot
was
to
like,
see.
you all get any food you want. I got it. And we did get some buns, but my girlfriend got those because I'd gotten the first meal. It turns out kids eat a lot, and they got the empanadas. The empanadas were good. They were $8 each.
Yeah.
So still
That's not bad.
obscene, but
Well, for PAX reasons, $8 an empanada is a lot. Let's be real.
Yeah, real life prices.
Yeah.
A little gross.
Yeah.
And then she had a waffle truck there with some whipped cream on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
experience then.
Yeah, the food there is overpriced, but they've got. I love food trucks.
They got variety.
I love food trucks. Yeah,
They have variety. Like I had a poke bowl, which was disgusting. That was $20, and it was tough. That was a
to
tough
be fair,
salad.
Squashy liked his.
I got the wrong flavor.
Yeah.
And
Have
it
you
was
had a
just not
poke bowl
nice.
before? Or was
I've
your
had
first
many times poke bowl,
Okay.
but yeah, this was just not
not a good poke
it.
bowl?
I had
Something about not
else.
good raw fish.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the fish part was fine. It was the sauce
Sauces
that they
and stuff,
used.
yeah.
I had a slice of pizza because I needed just something, and I almost broke my jaw because it was so chewy and especially the crust. But today, I had a $13 bacon cheese toasty. Now it's just a cheese toasty, but it was phenomenal.
That's a
just
grilled
it
cheese.
was- yeah, yes,
Grilled
yes,
cheese
yes.
for all you Americans.
Oh, is that what they call it?
what
Hey,
do you call it? A grilled
what did you
cheese.
call it? A
toasty.
Hey, can
A
we do that?
cheese toasty?
Can we do the alphabet real quick? A, B, C, D. What's the last letter in the alphabet?
Z.
I love it. I
I
love
was about to
it.
say Z because I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
The thing is, in Canada, we say Z as well. Like, Canada's exact spelling and pronunciation is more
Well-
to the UK.
Have you ever heard me rant about this?
No.
fucking Commonwealth country. You guys never kicked out. Canada is still under the monarchy.
They are.
Technically.
Yes, they are.
Technically, the
Yeah.
King of Canada is King Charles.
Correct.
He has control of
Really?
their military.
Yeah.
Correct.
It'll never be, quote unquote,
Yeah.
it's only
It won't be a
acted
call to
upon,
action,
yeah.
but
he
it
could.
is. It is.
I'm just saying. And then you guys got an Independence Day near our 4th of July. I'm just saying. We fought them. We kicked the crown out. You guys are still under the crown. There is no Independence Day if King Charles is your king. I'm just saying.
It's a fraud.
It's a rant.
It's a win-win for Dan, though.
So that's why you guys say Zed
As a
there.
non-Canadian, I can't speak too much. Otherwise, I'll get in trouble.
He's a green
I've
card
not
Canadian
got
over here.
citizenship yet.
That's a good point. You're like, no, they're independent.
Maybe,
great
maybe
nation.
next year.
It
we'll-
doesn't
we'll-
look like you will now.
Maybe next year. Well, actually, speaking of next year, with PAX, going back to that, I probably will be here next year, to be honest with you. I normally live in Vancouver, Canada, but I moved to Toronto just a few months ago for traveling purposes with my partner, and we're planning to be there for like a couple of years. So if I'm right by Boston, I feel like next year, like it might be my last time that I'm right next to Boston.
So you kinda
right?
gotta go
So
there.
so it's so much cheaper, right?
So every year could feel like the last year.
it could be,
right
yeah,
next to
it
it.
could do.
That-
Next year, I'll be
that's
like,
huge.
I'm staying.
That actually gives me more incentive to want to be here regardless if I know the both of you are going to be
And
here.
Mateo.
Um,
Yeah, we could do another pod. Get a
Mateo
better
never
setup.
misses one of these.
No, he doesn't. No.
And then
At
the-
least as far as I know.
The Without Parole.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
They
good
did all
Without
those
Parole.
game cats.
Brian's, I think, from Massachusetts as
Yeah.
well too. I always joke like, what do we have going
Maybe
on
we
in
get a bigger
Massachusetts?
room next year and just do a bigger one.
Do a big group pod. I
Yeah,
think
big,
the
yeah.
real thing to do. We should pitch a panel of like all the VR podcasts that are
Just
here.
put us all on the stage.
think
Maybe
that would
all
be
of our
fun.
stats will be enough.
Yeah,
You know, add all the
collectively, I
numbers
think we can do
together.
it. Yeah, we'll do a VR mega show from PAX. I
you
think
know, if they were true to understanding data, though,
Yeah.
they would know that like a smaller niche number could equate to really a more
Yeah.
what would look like a larger number on a different market.
Yeah.
I mean, those game cats get like 25 to 30 people here, I think. to
That's
come.
impressive to
Last
have
year I hung
people
out with them
come
a lot. Yeah.
to your show, they fundraises them to come out here
Yeah.
too. Like that's an awesome community
amazing.
they have
That's
going.
a smart way to I mean I know we got Patreon and stuff, but to do like a dedicated
Yeah, this
event
is for
community
that.
stream for this, yeah.
It's like and that's not taking away from because truthfully, like usually like people when they get Patreon and stuff, everyone knows
Dedicated
that.
to.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's a loss, right? We all know that like the industry for as podcasters is typically an L unless you're like a Joe Rogan or
It's got to
network.
be a hobby. Yeah. That's
Correct.
really
Yeah.
much it,
So
we
you-
enjoy talking.
Correct.
Yeah.
You eat what you got to eat, so your funds go to where they need to go to keep doing what you got to do. So I think it's a genius way to fund.
1, 2, 3, 4 mics, the Roadcaster.
Oh, you have it all here.
Yeah.
Your gear is legit. But
Dude, if somebody robbed me on the bus, like they left with a podcast studio.
yeah.
Like, they had the whole studio.
More or less. No, but I think a panel would be great.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I also, in looking at the amount of meeting rooms, I don't see why, especially if it was a full panel,
Yeah.
why it wouldn't get good reception.
Did you see the Red Bull Media Room? Did
Yeah,
you go
I
to that?
Yeah, no, it was too. I went literally into I went into it and I came straight out of it. And I was like, what is this little tiny room? And the decibels are like right up the top.
Oh no, music was
Too strong.
thumping.
I was like, I need all that Red Bull to keep me going in this place.
I was
That was
out.
a nice
And some
touch, though.
extra- It was a nice touch. It was a nice touch that's there. I just really like the lockers. That was my favorite part of it because I could
Give me a
stick my just give me a locker. Let me put my stuff away. But one of the biggest things, like with the PAX of like just meeting up with you guys and everyone else, is not PAX itself. It's just because people are here. Like the best
Absolutely.
thing that we've done, because we've had a little group who've all been staying at Samson's. So there's 4 of us, right? Well, there was 4 of us yesterday, and last night and the night before, we'd just be up all night doing like some local gaming, whether it's
We
like
played so much couch co-op.
we get so much. And then the thing is, like, I was speaking to our friend Squashy about it today, and I was like, it's so we do online all the time, and in VR it's really good because of the presence. It's really good because it feels like you are
It's
right
legit.
next to them, and it makes a big difference. It's much better than just playing flat screen online with people just on a headset. But that local co-op, like, you don't have that as much anymore unless you have your like close knit of friends or anyone near you. You don't really have that. We're all so far away, right? So to have local co-op for a little bit was really fun.
I remember that was like so much of my gaming as a kid growing up was
Right.
Star Wars Battlefront with my
Yeah.
friends, you know, all that stuff. It's like co-op split screen co-op gaming was so
Nothing
good.
beats it. It's so fun.
That was what I did for my birthday this year. I invited people over and I said, we're going to be playing multiplayer video games all night. And that is just what we did. And it kind of felt like a little extra birthday party having you all here at PAX because we played Towerfall, Crash Team Racing, Bino. And it was such a blast. I've had such a blast having you over, and you're so right. Like I just love those. Even that game we tried at PAX, where me, you, and Squashy were playing together.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this feels like we're just like hanging out together. And yeah, that is a big thing with VR, with the presence of why I like the multiplayer gaming in VR.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a real thing than flat screen. Even though you have headphones and all that, you just never feel like you're truly next to the person.
Yeah.
I play Walkabout. If I'm playing with somebody, you're freaking there, man. It's like I can see you, I can talk to you.
You high
see
five.
how tall you are and all that. You know?
In fact, you mentioned Walkabout because a lot of times you're playing Walkabout a big group. Some people are sitting and you see their avatar head like kind of get up, and you're like, oh, I can tell that's you're getting up from a seat. And when we were playing with Squashy, we have intense moments. I'd get up from my seat and stand to play, and he sees me, he make a comment of it, and that's just like all stuff that wouldn't happen if we were playing online and not being able to like see each other, or being able to not play in VR. Like in VR, if VR brings couch co-op almost like to you.
It's the closest form for sure.
How about the first time you're in a headset and you do a VR interaction, like high five another avatar, and it makes a sparkle with it or something, a little click with it, or you saw this referenced in my our Discord the other week with the POW from Golf Plus, which I don't think is back. I think there's just a sound. I don't think the comic book icon, which is what we're referring to.
Yeah, we should emphasize that more.
It's not the POW sound. I know that guy was very upset that we keep saying the POW's not there, but the fucking POW's not there, so I'm going to keep saying it.
The Batman POW.
Yes, it's just so silly.
Yeah.
It's a comic book symbol.
Yeah.
So when we ever first did that, I sold on the medium, having that sense of presence. Yeah. Feeling that other person there,
I get though, in the big picture, I understand why it's not there
because it doesn't fit the aesthetic of the game.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
It really did when it was just Top
still
Golf.
want it, though.
Yeah. Top Golf with Pro Putt.
How far we've come,
dude. They've just been crushing it with licensing.
Ryan, really
no joke.
Ryan was one of our first ever interviews.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he said he was going after. If I remember, it mentioned he's going to try to get
PGA.
more licensing and stuff, and they've
we're
crushed
like, oh, that's
it.
awesome. And then a week later, he's like, I've got this course, another course.
Yeah.
They've been crushing it.
There's both Walkabout and Golf Plus, both in Austin, Texas, the two biggest golf games in VR in the same city.
Polar opposites, but still,
both are
great
amazing.
games. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
That Flick game, I thought about Walkabout, and I'm like, oh man,
that could be a Walkabout
cool?
mini golf.
Yeah,
a Walkabout mini game.
Have
like
a
a
mini golf course that only takes up the size of the hotel room, and you could legit have 18 legit golf holes. And I'm not saying Walkabout, just the catalyst that made me think imagine going to an establishment per se, and they had 10 different courses you could play. Just you and so it's pretty cool.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who just thinks about Walkabout in my free time
Right.
in
And
life,
sleep
because
and-
They occupy rent in my head, Sam.
They live rent free.
there's
do.
I pay them rent to live in. That's how it feels.
there's a rundown mini, just call mini golf Walkabout now. There's a rundown mini golf near Gillette Stadium by my place, and I think about maybe I can buy it with Walkabout, and then we'll have headsets on the inside, and we'll have double mini golf, and we can revamp it. And it'd probably be a terrible business decision, but
Make it happen. Sell the house, make it happen.
yeah, exactly. I love everything Walkabout.
They just crush it.
Yeah,
all their
Every time.
They've been,
DLC courses.
They've been really hammering me on social media lately, man. Oh,
they called you out on cussing one time.
Yeah,
You
they said
cussed.
you kiss your mom with that mouth.
Yep.
You
They
kiss your
say-
mother with that mouth.
And then you did a stumble that when
my God,
transcribed,
It's
I don't know if you've
terrible.
ever put your words through an auto transcriber, but the ums, the
those
pauses,
all get.
the stumbles, they
No,
look
this
terrible when
this
they're
one
written.
was so bad, and on LinkedIn too, so it was even worse because they tagged the show and me. I'm like, oh my God, man. So
What did we
basically,
do?
I was trying to say Walkabout to me is like Nintendo. They're in their own. They can do whatever they want.
You
They
never
don't
know what
need
they're gonna do
marketing
next.
help.
Yeah.
Correct. Short and sweet. What came out was their Walkabout to me.
I think you
I'm
were
like,
probably there.
Holy
there.
crap. So I read it and I'm like, I started to get hot. You know, like
Yeah.
when you fuck up really bad and you start sweating, like,
Anxiety.
oh my God. So I'm reading this and I'm like, what are they saying to me? And I'm like, this is my words? And I sent you a message and I go, yo, what did I do to Walkabout, man? They're coming after me. The Walkabout mob.
David, I thought we were friends.
I'm like, did I really say it just like that? That's terrible. So, but it apparently transcribed it was, or maybe it did. I don't
So
wanna
for
listen to it.
Walkabout, they had an image they released of their sort of like roadmap, if you will, and they've hit most recently the bug catching released on Sweetopia and the employee entrance. And there's one final thing from the roadmap that we don't know what it is, and it's a star.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the LTO Discord. We've got some rummagings trying to figure out what that star might be. But I'm just kind of gonna throw it out. Maybe you guys have any ideas?
I could make a guess. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be in one of the courses. There's something to fly up in the sky because I've never had a restriction with flying up in the air. It always feels like I can fly up and up and up. So if I were to start to investigate, I would first check all the daytime courses and see if any of them have a visible star in it.
I know
and
the
then
haunted one.
From there, if none of them had a
Nighttime
visible, well, so yeah, I would start to check the night modes and see if there's any of them that, as you fly higher, if it feels like the perspective of the stars is getting closer.
Is
to you.
actually getting
Because if it
Elvis
starts
is
to
the
look
only
like,
one with the star I could think of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
that's pretty impressive off the top of your head too, with the amount of walkabout
Also,
courses
all these
there are.
like special ones have only been on the hard levels as well. Sweetopia was hard.
That's a good call out.
Right, the
That's a good
employee.
call out.
Yes,
It was all hard. So I think it will be hard.
That would be my guess. So start to
Yeah.
fly to the sky, start to fly to this anything that has a star in it, and see if there's any distance actually, or if it's like a hard pressed on image that never gets bigger as you get closer. And baby,
I
if
like
that
it.
thing starts to get bigger, up your speed and fucking zoom there. So many secrets in Walkabout. Such
It's
a good
so
game.
amazing.
I'm just realizing now that all the cross listeners of both shows just hear both podcasts just talking about Walkabout every week, just nonstop.
Then it's the continuity exists for real.
It's
then.
clearly a good game.
It's and it also shows it's like the feelings we have for what we talk about is pretty legit. Do you guys swear on your show?
I
Not
fucking
as
do.
often.
Okay.
but
Okay.
No,
yes.
that's all I need to know. Well, you're New England. I know.
Dan
you're
lives
gonna
there.
lose. I just don't know if Dan's sitting there every week
I don't
going,
cross them out. No.
I gotta freaking
bloody
edit,
hell, you know?
edit. Bloody hell.
I'm not allowed to do accents anymore because
His accents are terrible. They are
that
bad.
and
Which
I-
one got you?
Well, I did
you try to do a Cockney or
I tried to
something?
do like a Scottish one, but it right off the bat I knew like it was like I did a Borat or it was just so bad.
Borat.
And
If I had to just keep it moving, I'm
and-
like, okay,
yeah, it's like, let's just not talk about that ever again.
Yeah.
The Scottish accent.
So now good day. And I try not to do them.
Oh, the Australian.
Yeah,
You have a lot of fun with
Good day.
accents.
Good day, mate. No, I was doing it to an Australian on an interview, and then they were giving me like more slangy ways that they really say shit. Because I was like, "Good day, mate," and they're like, "No, say it like this," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," but wasn't offended at all to
Yeah,
the.
he was just having fun. Like,
Dude,
he
I'll
was
do
like
the
a
I'll do the
new
Jamaican
language.
on the show. I'll do anything. I don't care. South Central Cholos. It doesn't matter.
I have very simple. I'm a simple man. I have simple life goals with the podcast. You know, appear in game credits, visit a game studio, which we've done. Check there.
Yeah.
You know, get brought out to events, like simple stuff. The big one that is outstanding that I love to is to do some sort of voice acting
1,000,000%.
thing. I think you'd be a little
Listen.
bit better for it, but like I still want my voice in a game. You know what I'm just saying?
That's not out of the question because I think BMF is in a game, Gamertag, and a few other
Yeah,
people got
Gamertag
in.
did a great job.
Just gonna keep,
right?
just gonna keep planting the seeds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Keep planting the seeds.
His voice with the character worked perfect, and I couldn't tell it was him until I rolled
Really?
the credits.
That's how you
and
know
then
it was good.
I instantly had sent him a message, and I'm like, "Hey man, just rolled the credits and 'cause had early access." He was so modest about it. I was like, "That's pretty freaking cool." I'm like, "You're really gonna lay low about it," type of thing. So I didn't see anything really major come out about it from him, other than I think one social post, which was like, "Hey, I did this," and obviously for good people, good project. But yeah, he crushed it.
What type of role would you like to voice?
Oh, I would probably be best with something that's not accented. I'll play the
Steam
dying
game?
guy. I could play an awesome dying guy.
Yeah, Wilhelm scream.
Something that doesn't require like talking British accent or
Yeah.
talking. I'd probably be best with like my actual voice. Whereas you, like we have, I don't know if you've ever heard Uncle Vinny before we have
the angry Italian.
Yeah,
the New Jersey Italian. He's just out of control.
We create characters sometimes. I think you could play a character much better. It was like I think I would have to be my voice. Like this is what you get.
Uncle Vinny's what you do when you don't want to be monetized.
You want to whip out Uncle Vinny for a second?
I don't know if I should.
He goes down bad path.
He goes down bad path, man.
One time we wrote a Manscaped ad read that we didn't put out.
As Uncle Vinny.
Oh my God,
Vinny.
that's amazing.
Wicked, just think like Wicked
It got
Cross
viral.
Jersey
It got
guy.
like we had it typed up and it was pretty bad. And then there was a point like 3/4 in where I was like, no, look, this is Uncle Vinny. You know, like he's a dirty Jersey guy. I
From
was
the
like,
70s.
I was like, you think you want some clean shaven? Like, no, he's a nasty man. And then you just took it in.
I went next level with it.
You went.
And we were going to release it as the actual ad read. We were like, this might be the Manscaped might let us go after
They might not
this.
drop us. They might sue us if I put this out.
So we didn't
Or
put
they
it
might
out.
love it.
We still have it.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I should put it out sometime.
Yeah.
It's a Patreon only.
Yeah.
But I saved it to my computer as do not post is what I called the file. Do not share. Like this is
Do not
bad.
ship.
Yeah, do not ship.
Ship. Yeah.
The little trombone
That's
reference.
hilarious.
So
Trombone champ reference. There you go.
great game as well too. I try to not be like too hammer heavy with the stuff that comes from like
Yeah,
the place
I
I
know.
work.
Impact, yeah.
It's like
I don't
Glad to
work
be
there
here.
though, and I love it, so I can talk about it as much as I'd like, and which is almost every episode.
there. I'll have you anytime that
It
there's
is.
trombone champ news to come on. I'll be like, let's have Samson talk about this one.
yeah.
So it's,
We'll have the Sam's minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know how many toots he has?
I'm short
you're
on
tooted
toots.
out,
I'm
right?
short on toots now because I spent them all on those cards. But actually, in both of our discords,
You see the gloves?
Pow Pow, the new gloves I haven't. I got to shout out Pow Pow here because he is better than me, a trombone champ, and I'm like okay, and it just blows my mind how good he is. The gloves, I do like the gloves as an addition though. I haven't gotten the new ones though.
yeah, we just dropped Surviving Mars Pioneer gloves.
I do like the cross pollination there.
Mm-hmm. It's Impact Inc. game, the new publishing wing from Impact
Surviving
Reality.
Mars, man.
You love it. You love Surviving Mars
That's
Pioneer.
a great game.
What
Yeah.
is that like? Is it? I don't know much about it. Is that like the Rust game, or is
No,
that's a different one?
that,
That was
Grim would be
You're okay,
the
yep, yep,
rest
yep,
one,
yep.
yeah. Which is actually the developer Spoonfed posted pictures of the island map for Grim, and that's going to change the game.
Yeah.
That's not even funny.
Surviving Mars Pioneer is like unlike the flat screen,
Which it
version
is a
that's
flat
based
screen
on-
game.
Yeah, it's,
Oh,
it-
okay,
it was
that's why it sounds
Definitely
familiar.
not.
it's
not
like a
the same
colony
at all.
sim on flat screen, where it's
Gotcha.
just this much more like survival with base building,
Mm-hmm.
which is really fun in VR. Like I love Green Hell, love Grim.
No, so far I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into it with like the skeptical eyes. I'm like, yeah, you fucking with a game I like. No, they're crushing it. That one's gonna do really good.
Hope so. As
I
always.
feel it. I feel it in my bones.
I know we went a little longer than we had anticipated, but we have fun here. There's just a couple last things I wanted to ask before we wrap it up with one of those. Have you two ever visited a game studio together?
We have
or
not.
anything?
No, definitely not together.
We've
This is
only-
only our
this is
second
second
time.
meeting
Yeah, that's a good
together.
point. That's a good
meeting.
point.
Yeah.
Not many
We're gonna
opportunities.
go
if
baby
you-
steps.
And every time I'm like, he is so friggin' tall.
I think that's what
I
Mateo.
heard that rumor. Yeah.
That's what Mateo told us. He goes, "Wow, Dan's taller than you think."
It's only 6'3". I'm not an NBA player.
6'3".
People are going
only-
to start to get the expectation of Skiva and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, not
That's
Skiva.
true.
No,
It's
not
Skiva.
Skiva. No.
If you ever see Skiva in person, you're
Jesus.
looking up.
I've seen the picture.
You know,
and I'm like, oh my god.
I'm like 6 feet and I'm like nipple height. I'm like, how's this even possible?
Even in
man?
VR, I was like, Skiva, is my
Dude.
floor different? He's like, no, I'm just tall. I'm like,
I did a bowling tournament.
yeah, and the motherfucker's arm went down the alley.
I questioned. I'm like, is are they gonna allow like real life proportions? Because this is gonna be some bullshit, man.
Let go
He's
of the
just
ball
gonna go,
at the pins.
Funk. No, it does.
Yeah,
it does
it
work
accounts
different.
for it. Yeah.
But dude, he was throwing like his style was
Haymakers?
to just like 100
Wow.
mile an hour ball. I'm like, what are you
Wow.
doing, man? Just tore me
Yeah.
apart.
Mm-hmm. And then
Tore me
lost the finals
Uh-huh.
match. He just played a terrible game, I remember.
And you don't remember? What
And
was
you would have
really-
won that finals match. You're like, of course he played.
So-
Yeah.
yeah.
So how competitive am I in a make believe game that just for fun? There's nothing
They
really
sent
at stake.
everyone the same reward. We all got a jacket
yeah,
or
we're all winners.
polo.
So I had really fricked up my shoulder bad, dude, like really bad. And I'm like, I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm not letting anybody know I'm hurt. I was practicing every single night, dude. It was crazy. I took it so serious, and then I was I got confident too. I'm like, I got this in the bag, man. There's no freaking way. I was seeing the scores
Yeah.
other people were posting, and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then Skiva come out of nowhere and just fucking, I'm just gonna throw the fastest balls in
Fastest
Look at
balls
like
of the East.
Sasquatch throwing a rock at you, dude. That thing was flying.
So
Yes.
I had asked the game studio question because next time you're in the area, if you get a chance, highly recommend because they're right in Worcester. Petrichor, the developers of Mythic Realms, very fun game that just came out.
Great
recently.
studio too.
Really nice people.
Yeah.
Really nice people. We've met one of their developers, Oliver. Back in the day, we met one of their marketing
They
people.
were at the after party last night.
Crazy
Yep.
there in Worcester.
Met the CEO
Yeah.
there. Really smart people.
Are they from Massachusetts?
Yep. They
Okay.
all went to
crazy.
where did they go? Not WPI. Maybe it was WPI. I forget where they went to school, but they all met in college together and then formed the
I'll
studio.
say
That's
MIT
very cool.
just because it sounds more like, oh my god.
We have an interview with them dropping next week, and they go into how they met and
It was
like
not MIT.
their college
Nice.
thing together. They like ran a game studio in college, to like a simulated game studio sort of to figure
That's-
out
Wow, they did college the proper way.
exactly what I said. I go, they came out of it with like actual workplace. Here's how a business functions, not like
Yeah, no, they come to the VR playing field with
it was real
of
school.
knowing-
I agree. I was
knowing
just as impressed. I was like, no fucking way.
their
That's
game is
awesome.
not free to play either, is it?
But they come from like an iOS, an app store background, an app game background, and then they transitioned over to VR. And they'd be a really cool studio for you guys to
Nice,
check out.
yeah.
They're really fun. Next time you're in the area,
All right.
highly
Next
recommend
PAX,
them.
next PAX. Unless you want to just
Yeah, I
represent
could get
both
out
of
there.
us.
I'm in Worcester pretty
Samson's
often.
like, I'll be there every day.
Yeah.
We're just
I
gonna get
shouted
sick
out
of it.
Mochi Nut in Worcester.
They're gonna be like, shit, Samson's here again.
yeah.
yeah, that's totally
Here again. Oh god, we're closed.
No, they got the was it David's Hot Chicken or whatever.
Dave's Hot Chicken.
Dave's
Yeah,
Hot Chicken.
really good.
Got to try that with them for the first. Yeah, highly recommend a visit to that.
Ever since I was like 8 years old
Yeah.
when I saw Grandma's Boy for the first time, and like I thought that's how every game studio was, which also learned some of them are kind of like that. I was like, I need to go see a game studio, so it's always cool to see. And I had a second question I wanted to ask before we wrap it up, but I don't remember what it is, so I guess I'll go around the table. Anything anybody want to bring up or ask that we didn't touch on?
Nothing to do with PAX, but we are currently doing this new series on our podcast called Revisited, where we go back to like some of the old big hidden gems or like the biggest games in VR. So for example, our first episode was Super Heart. Second episode that we just dropped last week was Lucky's Tale, and we're kind of going through it and such. I wanted to ask you guys, like, is there any specific game that you like, maybe an older VR game, whether it's a hidden gem or just first one that you can think of that, like, you were like, this is a really good game that I'd love to hear the history of, hear how it was made, and all of that, and how it plays today, because that's the podcast.
And we try to give like what's going on in the what
the
other
state of
games
VR at the
can
time
yeah,
and
exactly
such, yeah.
exactly.
The first one that came to my mind, because I love the theme song, and they've not done a game since. Oculus owned, Meta owned. So who knows? But they haven't laid people off from it or nothing. I just don't know what they're doing. But it would be Path of the Warrior.
Oh,
Path of the Warrior, yeah.
that'd be
I
a
haven't
good
played
one.
that in a
Very
long
good
time.
game.
That's like the
Yeah.
Streets of Rage kind of like art style, right? And such,
Yep.
yeah.
And I want to know what
That's
that
co-op,
studio is
too.
doing. It's so fun. And
That's a good one. We could probably cover
Yeah.
that one.
It's age. I went in towards December of this past year just to revisit it.
It's aged well.
You know, there's some things that maybe didn't age the
Yeah.
best, you know? But no, it's still a really fun game and
Yeah.
co-op.
It's so silly.
That's a good one to cover. Maybe next we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting community suggestions and such, and so it's always fun to do.
I would do Pop One, man, just
Population
because
One, yeah.
it's so old,
It's still
Yeah.
relevant though, is the
dude. Oh, it does. It's a non-relevant game that you're talking about.
No,
I mean, not
no.
necessarily.
It could
Just
be
like hidden
relevant.
gems.
Just
I,
has to
I
be
made up
older.
that.
Just
I
like
mean,
an
it's still-
older game that we
It might
want
be
to
a little more
dive
popular.
Into
Yeah.
we want
I
to dive
think
into
though,
history and such.
if you could like do a real biography of Pop One, from that's where I would have the real interest in that. I mean, we all know
Like a
the
history,
game. We know
yeah.
the many things they've done. They went free to play, and but how they went from, I've never spoken to them, so I have nothing to go
Yeah.
on of like what was the
big
mindset
box, yeah.
from how many years ago that they pulled this off. I
They
mean,
made one VR game before Pop One that was like kind of Pop One esque, but totally different art
yeah,
style and
not
stuff.
Pop One, man.
And it didn't take off.
Mm.
And then they started teasing Population One. At some point in
Like
time, they got
Fortnite.
investors. At
That
some point in
music,
time,
man.
it got this
Yeah.
big following. They launched. They get bought by Meta. I think
Yeah.
that's a great one.
Mhm.
That's
to
a
go
good
into.
If
suggestion
one was
too.
going to do like the whole life story of
That's the whole idea of this revisited series.
Yeah.
To go through the whole life cycle, and then we have another part in it where we go over like how it plays today and such. But most of it is about the history and such. But that's a good one.
that's my vote.
I played that a lot. Population One when it came out. I
Oh, we were
played it a lot.
junkies.
Yeah, I played it a hell of a lot,
Junkies.
and I didn't even play those kind of games at all. But for some reason, it was also VR. It was also Quest 2 just came out. Right, this was like maybe the fourth game that was Quest 2 own. Well,
I
Quest
actually
2
think we
games.
started our podcast around the same time.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
it's weird,
Very
right?
weird.
So weird.
And this is the first time we speak properly together. It's crazy.
So we're probably into.
I just meant, like,
or I was on.
Yeah, just
I
you.
was on,
Just
yeah,
you.
just
You didn't want to.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't.
Too busy
had-
drinking
we
Not
had-
an
fuck
LTO
those
reason.
guys.
He
Yeah.
came on for a specific
Yes,
reason.
Yeah,
came
it was,
on
for,
for-
it was for the VR arcade.
Yes, I remember that.
The Rhode Island.
Yeah.
The Rhode
Yeah.
Island arcade.
The bubbler.
How is that still
Oh
doing
yeah,
very
it's
well?
bumping. Yeah, and he actually on Tuesday nights now is doing Street Fighter, like some flat gaming tournaments.
Okay.
And yeah, he's still got his Valve
He was doing a lot
indexes
for
there.
the youth causes and
Yeah,
stuff, right?
yeah, and I did
Yeah.
see he just posted on the Instagram last week. He was doing another like I think course with little kids during
his
their
story
spring
was
break.
good, and
Yeah.
his mission seemed to be pretty genuine. It's all coming
Toye
back.
was
to
his
Yeah,
name,
Toye.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
good memory.
Good memory.
And I'm
Took
like,
a little
I
bit.
knew there was a heartfelt reason why we wanted to really have that discussion.
Yeah.
No, good for him. I'm glad he's still maintaining and
Yeah.
I love that concept for a series of episodes as well too, because it's a rant I've had before that like I kind of think that VR creators kind of self-perpetuate a consumer cycle in
What's
gaming.
shiny?
The
Where
hype
like
train.
whatever's new, like we have to make a video for that, which is actually kind of interesting.
You
because
need that with
That's where it came from. That's my whole idea was because of that. Because it feels like
we just
with-
dump it and on to the next, and
with
I don't like that.
YouTube, it was like you post it. And it's always trying to cover, and we always have a hard time because like I don't want to. Let's say when Ghost Town came out, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have access to Ghost Town, but we played it, and we played it the week after, and we gave like good impressions. But we don't want like to try and rush, trying to get the game done. Like maybe
100%.
1 week when that game comes out, we just don't have the time to get through it. So we don't want to go. Okay, we don't want these podcasts to be always like you have to listen to it this week, otherwise it's not relevant. So
Yeah.
let's have some sort of like evergreen content in there. And also some of the podcasts that I listen to, non-VR and non-gaming too, they do like retro style where they go back to, it might not be a game, but they might go to like a movie, might go to like a specific point in time, like high school or so, and they just discuss memories at that time. I was like, I really love that concept. And VR, there's so many big games that came out in 2016, 2017 that are on the Quest right now, but no one really talks about them, or we know about them, but no one makes videos or any content about them anymore because they were, yesterday's news kind of thing. So,
But if it released today, it would still be a phenomenally
It'd be
well
massive.
saved game. Yeah, no, I agree on that so much.
yeah.
especially when there's always like and it doesn't even matter the industry. There's always going to be that social media push to do the latest and greatest.
Mhm.
And let's be honest, people who can do what they want. There's people who can't because they're going to have to do what they're,
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think that's something I'd listen to it.
Like I said,
100%.
Once
think-
a month, it takes a while to put that.
Oh yeah, no,
together. The super hot, like my super
the
hot script
history-
was 7 pages long of history because it was
Jesus.
so much. Lucky's Tale less so because there wasn't much to pull from, but that was more about how it plays today
And now
compared
so
to
the
like
sup-
Maximus and such.
So I'll send you on a mission and
Yeah.
do a deep dive into why Quintar is not like I can't get it to run. Right?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
I haven't
I
tried,
tried
it
it.
since
I
I
mean,
it
it's
tried
been
it.
a while for me since I tried.
We crush it in Quintar.
Do you
Like,
think the servers are down?
I
We
don't know.
lost one
I saw
game.
someone posting that they were playing it and they loved it.
We
Oh,
only
really?
ever
to me, it's this
lost one
gem
time in
that's-
Quantar.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
just
like
once.
and it was because of some bullshit too. Like
Yeah,
we
of
made
course.
a very bad
game.
Yeah, it wasn't the game's fault. Like we did I want to say we picked the wrong characters or something like that.
Yeah, I
It was-
wasn't playing as my
It was
little-
something weird that happened. But like we had like a 99.8%
That's
win
crazy.
rate. It's the best game we've ever been.
Wow.
That and Juan's Alliance. That's
Yeah.
another one.
I do
Yeah,
feel like
just-
there were a lot of bots in that one though.
Yeah.
Oh, they're 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I think you need to be
I
transparent
can't
about
even
that.
play a bot. So
Yeah.
I'd love to know like what the history
Yeah, we
really
just can't
was
connect to
behind
a
this
map.
That's
game.
crazy.
The map is-
I'll head home and I'll boot it up. I'll
See
give it
if
a
we-
whirl.
see if
Love
we can
that
get in.
game. Love
Yeah.
it. Juan's Alliance would be
Yeah.
another one to
That
go
was
into. Juan's
dude. That
I don't know
one
that
was
one.
Juan's
fantastic.
Juan's
game.
was a solo, like a 1v1 wizard fighting game.
Oh yeah.
and then they
yeah,
came out
yeah,
with
yeah.
Juan's Alliance, was
3v3.
3v3.
I do remember that.
And we
yeah.
slayed in it. We just slung.
we were
we
supposed to play the developers.
Yeah, but
it
they
was
had a
around their
Swedish
holiday.
vacation.
Right,
They're
yeah.
Europeans and their
Typical
Yeah.
excuses.
their fair working conditions.
Headset's
you know?
not coming on.
We do have 5 weeks off. We like
See
to
you in a
have
month and a half.
work-life balance.
Dan's always going on vacation. I'm like, Canada,
Yeah.
man.
We do well in Canada too. To be fair, Commonwealth, it works.
Massachusetts is a Commonwealth, and I'm not getting all that fat vacation time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, but seriously, just again, great concept for a series.
Yeah.
We love to talk about.
There's tons of games to cover. That's the thing. Like we could do this for 2 years alone, like just to cover. It's just that obviously we can't do it every week because there's so much research. We have to play the game and try and finish.
right.
We got to try and finish it or get really close to finishing and have a good opinion on it too. So like it takes a lot of time, but it's also really fun episodes to do because we don't have to worry about news cycles or if it's a slow news day or anything like that. We can just, let's just talk about this game for a whole hour and it's kind of fun.
It's going to give the exposure back again. Or for a lot of people, it's probably going to be the first time they've even heard of the game. I hate the fact that we use terms like hidden gems because
they shouldn't be hidden.
We're in it, and if we struggle or we find something like, why am I just seeing this now? Just by sheer definition, hidden gem bothers me.
Every VR game class is a hidden gem, to be honest, with these standards nowadays, apart from Beat Saber.
The store being what it is. Yeah,
we could have a whole podcast about the store. We did have a whole podcast about the store last month. Actually.
I think every podcaster creator has had some pretty harsh.
Everyone with a Twitter account.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll do another episode definitely next time we're all together, maybe even remotely as well too.
Remotely, yeah.
This has been fun.
One last thing in closing though, it's like even the VR YouTube channels or flat screen YouTube channels that only cover one game are usually the biggest channels ever. Like channels dedicated to Gorilla Tag, channels dedicated to Animal Company or Ghost of Tabor. Those always end up the biggest channels.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes even we shoot ourselves in the foot. It's not a cycle that we fall into of chasing the latest and greatest.
Wired to do one thing or outside working.
I do talk about Breachers and Synth Riders almost every week.
You're damn good at Breachers.
We do our weekly news episode, which is obviously the latest and greatest of what's going on, but like talk walkabout almost every week. Ghost of Tabor, Grim.
We talk what we play.
Yeah, if
what
we
we're
play
playing
a game,
at the moment.
We're gonna if we like it, we're gonna talk about it. It has nothing to do with
the folks at Mighty Coconut did say to us when they came on we did like a year in review last year at like Christmas time. And Ed was like, I'm still waiting for the show to be changed to Let's Talk Walkabout. And I was like, it's coming, maybe. That one time where we're like, you know what, we've had enough of playing new and VR stuff. We're just going to do Walkabout. That time might come, but not for a while. The Revisited series is keeping us going before we switch.
They keep pumping out DLCs like they do. You'll have no shortage of content.
Seriously. Absolutely not, no. And they're great.
Exactly.
Shout out
doesn't love
too.
the Walkabout
One of the
team.
best games in VR.
And they're like the nicest people ever.
They're legit.
The nicest,
My favorite coconuts for sure.
When you meet them in real life too, it's when you really see like, snap, you guys are definitely they're 100%.
Going to Austin would be the dream to go to Mighty Coconut.
See their studio.
I vacationed there with my girlfriend. It was just me and my girlfriend. He wasn't on that trip because it was a personal vacation, not like a VR trip. And me and my girlfriend visited the Mighty Coconut studio. She's not even a VR fan, but she had fun there. It's such a good time.
Yeah,
they're great people.
Yeah.
So again,
thank you,
Samson,
thank you so much.
Dan. Thank you for joining us in this hotel room.
We hugged a little more time than
podcast in a hotel.
My
bad. Cameras
about
that's to die.
Okay.
It's normal.
Okay.
We couldn't do 30 minutes. We knew it was a lie. All right. Well,
it's always a lie.
I'd say look forward to it again next year, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you're down.
Oh, for sure. No, thanks so much, Damien. Thanks so much, Brian. Brian, I keep looking at you thinking you're Eddie Vedder on to my left here with his trucker cap and his hair at the back.
Yeah. It's because my hair is like it was really
deep
wolfing today.
Pearl Jam's my favorite band. So I'm like, oh my god.
Next time,
Eddie.
next time you come on, we can have a discussion of who had the best MTV Unplugged. That's one of my favorite talks. Was it Nirvana? Was it Alice in Chains? Or was it Pearl Jam?
As much as I love Pearl Jam, I actually think Alice in Chains is the best.
Yeah, I hop back and forth between Alice in Chains and Nirvana a lot with those.
I think Nirvana has the impact of it. Some of those songs that are not Nirvana songs are
like the
amazing.
Meat Puppets, they crushed it.
But Alice in Chains is such a perfect just to derail the podcast right at the end.
And I don't think Lane had
we could also talk about this afterwards.
Yeah, I'm a big Alice in Chains fan with their
They were about to break up.
They hadn't done a live concert in a couple years, I think.
They were going there knowing that the band is over, yet they still performed perfectly.
And Lane was
on fire.
He was messed up.
He was messed up.
But,
Yeah, Alice in Chains is my favorite one for sure. Nutshell Unplugged is amazing.
Yeah. But
the beauty is now you don't have to wait till next year to know the feelings and thoughts on that.
Yes, we could.
No, we just told you now because
I'll hold my feelings.
I'll save it for next year.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to Ruff Talk VR, subscribe to Let's Talk Oculus. Maybe we'll do another simulcast sometime.
I want to go to the Samson Mansion and film down there, man.
do some
Boarding
co-op
all the
couch games.
creators in New England.
I got a pool, so it'd be
Oh
good for
my
the
God.
summertime.
And let's do it. You know what? The Game Cats, they do their meetup here community wise. We come here, you guys come here. Let's just keep pushing
The
VR to
VR.
be the PAX can be the hub for VR if
With
we
some,
really
social.
some
Real
planning next year, we could probably
Come
do
on,
something.
let's do this.
some
We could
damage.
probably do something.
All right.
Logan's an international airport. The hotels are right next to the venue.
Yeah.
It is the perfect
Clam
solid.
convention.
chowder here is phenomenal.
Come on, VR scene. PAX East 2026.
Come on
Let's go.
down.
Come on down. All right. Thank
Thanks,
you too.
everyone.
And we'll check you out next year.
Yeah.
Peace.